Welcome to Essential English Only.
Your practical English lessons in podcast format.
Hi, I'm Alex, your English teacher who only teaches what you'll actually use. Speaking on the phone in English can feel even harder than speaking face-to-face. That's because you can't see the other person's face or gestures. But the truth is, most phone calls follow simple patterns with phrases that appear again and again. By learning these phrases, you will feel much more confident in your conversations. Today, you will learn 35 essential phrases for phone calls, all inside small stories. They appear in daily situations like talking to family, store attendants, co-workers, or friends. This way, you will not just memorize words, but understand how to really use them. Focus on the essential. To begin, in the first 18 examples, someone is calling me and I am the one answering. These are common everyday stories that show how to respond in different situations. When someone calls to confirm if they are speaking to the right person, they ask, "Hello, is this Alex?" And I answer, "Yes, this is Alex speaking. Who is calling, please?" The person continues, "Great, it's Mrs. Brown. I just wanted to confirm your appointment for tomorrow." This phone call shows how to confirm your identity and at the same time ask who is calling. When a colleague calls the office and someone unknown answers before passing the call to me, he says, "Good morning. May I speak to Mr. Smith?" The secretary replies, "Yes, one moment, please." Then I answer, "This is Alex. How can I help you?" The person explains, "Hello, Alex. I just wanted to talk about tomorrow's project." This call shows how to introduce yourself politely and open space for the subject. When a friend calls but is not sure if it's a good moment, he asks, "Hi, Alex. Is this a good time to talk?" And I reply, "Yes, I'm free now. We can talk. What's up?" He continues, "Perfect. I just wanted to ask about our plan for the weekend." This type of call is useful to start a conversation without being inconvenient. During a work call, the other person needs to find a document and says, "Can you hold on, Alex? I need a minute." And I answer, "Sure, I'll wait. Take your time." After a short pause, she returns, "Thanks. I have the document now. Let's continue." This example shows how to pause the call politely without hanging up. When I'm talking to a relative in another city and the voice is cutting, he says, "Alex, I can't hear you very well." And I answer, "The line is bad. Can you call me again, please?" He confirms, "Okay, I'll call you back in a moment. Stay close to the phone." Here we see a common situation. When the signal is poor, the solution is simply to call back. When a colleague calls to confirm a schedule, he asks, "Hi, Alex. Our meeting is at 3 o'clock, right?" And I say, "Yes, 3 o'clock. I'll be there. Should we meet in the main office?" He replies, "Yes, in the main office. See you then." This call shows how to confirm details quickly. When a client has a problem, he calls and says, "Hello, Alex. Can we move the meeting to tomorrow?" And I answer, "Yes, tomorrow works for me. What time is better for you?" He completes, "Let's say 10 in the morning. Thank you for understanding." This dialogue shows how to reschedule politely. When a friend calls to invite me to a party, he says, "Alex, I'm having a birthday party on Saturday. Can you come?" And I say, "Yes, I'd love to come." "What time does it start?" He continues. "At 7 in the evening. I'll text you the address later." This invitation makes the call light and positive. When I receive a call from a store, the attendant asks, "Good afternoon. Is this Alex? I'm calling from the store." And I answer, "Yes, this is Alex. How can I help you today?" The attendant explains, "Your order is ready for pickup. Can you come tomorrow?" This phone call was short and clear, giving important information. When a bank calls me to confirm some details, the attendant says, "Hello, is this Alex?" And I reply, "Yes, this is Alex speaking. How can I help you?" She continues, "We just need to check your address for the record." This shows how to answer an institution politely. When I get a surprise call from a cousin I haven't seen in years, he says, "Hi, Alex. It's been a long time. How are you?" And I reply, "I'm fine. Thank you. I missed you. How have you been?" He says, "I missed you too. Things are good. Let's talk more often." This call brings back connection and emotion. After finishing a quick subject, the other person ends with, "Okay, Alex, talk to you soon." And I say, "Yes, talk to you soon. Have a good day." This ending is simple, but keeps the friendship alive. When a colleague is busy in a meeting, he answers, "Hi, Alex, I'm in the middle of something. Can I call you back later?" And I reply, "Of course, no problem. Call me when you're free." He says, "Thanks, I'll call you after lunch." This shows how to delay a call politely. When a secretary calls and says the boss is not available, she asks, "Mr. Taylor is not available right now. Would you like to leave a message, Alex?" And I answer, "Yes, please tell him Alex called. Ask him to call me back." She confirms, "I'll let him know as soon as he returns." This is how to leave a clear message. During a call, when I don't understand, I ask, "Sorry, could you repeat that, please?" The person answers, "Sure, Alex. The meeting is at 4 o'clock, not 3. And I reply, "Thank you. Now I got it. 4 o'clock. This shows how to ask for repetition without embarrassment. When a call suddenly drops, my friend calls again and says, "Sorry, Alex, the call dropped." And I answer, "No problem, it happens. Where were we?" He continues, "We were talking about the weekend trip." This shows how to continue naturally after a lost connection. When someone calls to check an address, he says, "Hi, Alex. Can you give me the address again, please?" And I reply, "Sure, it's 25 Green Street. Do you want me to text it to you?" He confirms, "Yes, please. That would be great." This phone call shows how to share details and offer extra help. When a friend calls to invite me to lunch, he says, "Alex, do you want to have lunch together today?" And I reply, "Yes, that sounds good. What time works for you?" He completes, "Let's meet at 12:30. See you then." Hey, do you feel your English improving here? If so, all I need is a like to keep bringing new content. This simple call shows how to arrange a quick meeting. Now you've seen many situations where someone calls me and I respond, from confirming details to making plans. Next, let's change roles. From now on, I will be the one making the calls, so you can see how to start a phone conversation in English. When I call to confirm a meeting time, I say, "Hello, this is Alex. I just want to confirm our meeting time." The colleague replies, "Yes, Alex, it's tomorrow at 10 o'clock. And I say, "Perfect, thank you. See you tomorrow." When I call to ask for help on a project, I say, "Hi, this is Alex. Do you have a moment to help me with the project?" The colleague replies, "Sure. What do you need?" And I say, "I need your opinion on the final report." When I call a restaurant, I say, "Good evening. This is Alex. I'd like to make a reservation for 2, please." The attendant replies, "Of course, what time?" And I say, "At 7 o'clock tonight, if possible." When I call a store, I say, "Hello, this is Alex. I'm calling to check my delivery." The attendant replies, "Yes, Alex, your order will arrive tomorrow morning." And I say, "Great, thank you for the information." When I call a friend on his birthday, I say, "Hi, this is Alex. I just wanted to say, happy birthday." He replies, "Thank you, Alex. That means a lot." And I say, "I hope you have a wonderful day. Enjoy your party." When I call to say I will arrive late, I say, "Hi, this is Alex. I'm on my way, but I'll be 5 minutes late." He replies, "No problem, Alex. I'll wait for you here." And I say, "Thanks for understanding." When I call to apologize for missing a call, I say, "Hi, this is Alex. Sorry I missed your call earlier." He replies, "That's okay, Alex. I just wanted to ask about our plan." And I say, "Yes, let's talk about it now." When I call a clinic, I say, "Good morning, this is Alex. I'd like to schedule a checkup, please." The receptionist replies, "Sure, Alex. What day works for you?" And I say, "Next Monday, if possible." When I call a friend, I say, "Hi, this is Alex. Do you want to go to the park on Saturday?" He replies, "Yes, that sounds good. What time?" And I say, "Let's go in the afternoon, around 3. When I call to confirm a party, I say, "Hi, this is Alex. I'm just calling to confirm if the party is still on Saturday." My friend replies, "Yes, Alex, it's at my house at 7. And I say, "Perfect, I'll be there." When I call the bus station, I say, "Hello, this is Alex. Could you tell me what time the last bus leaves tonight?" The attendant replies, "The last bus leaves at 9 o'clock. And I say, "Thank you very much for your help." When I call a company, I say, "Good afternoon, this is Alex. I'd like to ask about the price for cleaning service." The attendant replies, "Of course, Alex. It depends on the size of your house." And I say, "I see. Please send me the details by email." When I call a language school, I say, "Hello, this is Alex. I'd like some information about your English classes." The attendant replies, "Sure, Alex. Do you prefer online or in person?" And I say, "Online would be better for me." When I call a neighbor, I say, "Hi, this is Alex. I just wanted to let you know I'll be away this weekend. The neighbor replies, thanks, Alex. I'll keep an eye on your place. And I say, I appreciate that a lot. When I call a family member, I say, hi, this is Alex. I just got the new job. He replies, congratulations, Alex. I'm so happy for you. And I say, thank you. I wanted to share the news right away. When I call a friend after he traveled, I say, hi, this is Alex. Did you arrive safely? He replies, yes, Alex. I just arrived. The flight was fine. And I say, I'm glad to hear that. Rest well. Before a long trip, I call a relative and say, hi, this is Alex. I just wanted to say goodbye before I leave. My relative replies, oh, Alex, thank you for calling. Have a safe trip. And I say, thanks. I'll call again when I arrive. Now you have learned 35 real phrases you can use in phone calls, both when someone calls you and when you make the call yourself. Along the way, you practiced expressions like, this is Alex speaking. Can I call you back later? Hold on, please. Could you repeat that? I'll call you back. And talk to you soon. Every small call you practiced here is real training for your daily life. Today, you achieved something practical. You can understand and respond in different phone call situations in English. Remember, you don't need perfection, you need progress. Each repetition makes your confidence stronger. I'm Alex, and this is Essential English Only. Keep listening, repeating, and developing your English every day. You really learned what matters. See you in the next lesson, focusing on the essentials.